What's your plans? What do you plan to do this weekend? I will be chilling. I will be chilling out. I will be kind of sleeping because of the heat, scalding sun and scorching hot weather. I didn't sleep well, and I didn't have an adequate sleep this night. So I will be chilling a little bit during this time, during this prime time. What about you? How do you cope with the hot weather? Because it's insane. It just, I can't get enough air. I can't get enough anything. It's just a problem. Okay, 4 of us today. Welcome everybody. Hello. Okay. So all the same faces. Thanks a lot for joining this webinar. So today so can you please type in the chat box how you deal with the hot weather now? And we will continue our webinar this time. Okay, good. So today we are going to talk a little bit, not a little bit, but the whole webinar, we will be talking about stress, how to manage stress, and how to be resistant to this kind of stress. So let's pencil in the agenda of our webinar. We are going to have a little bit of the discussion about stress. After that, we are going to talk about the nature of stress and the evolution of stress. After that, we are going to look at how to be resistant to stress, how to make stress your friend, and which stress is a positive stress or a beneficial stress. And after that, we are going to look at the meditation, or my way of meditating, to cope with the everyday stress. Good. So it's interesting to know what is stress for you. How can you define the feeling of stress in your own words? So please type in the chat box what is stress for you and what is the correct definition of stress for you. For me, it's when, it's the feeling, just the simple feeling of anxiety that can stalk me all the time during my life, and I feel stressed out, I feel anxious, nervous. That's stress for me. Do you get stressed easily? What about you? Yes or no? I think I get stressed easily, but first I don't. First, when I think I'm not stressed, but I feel that my body says that I'm stressed, so I can notice some bodily responses that reminds me that I'm stressed. So as for me, sometimes I think I'm not stressed, but in reality, I'm stressed. So sometimes my thoughts are deceptive, but body shows me that I'm stressed. That's my view. Okay, so what circumstances stress you the most? What about you? Can you type in the chat box what stresses? When I have tests, okay. When I'm scared, good, fine, thanks a lot. what circumstances stress you the most? For example, speaking about me, I have two circumstances or events, that occasions, that stress me the most. First one, when I have a deadline, when I have the time limit, and I understand that I'm a little bit left behind, and I understand that this time that I have is not enough, and I'm just begin doing something, just fidgeting around. I don't know what to do, and after that I understand that this time I don't do anything, just fidgeting around and by being nervous, uh, and I understand that during this time I can't do this stuff that I should do, and moreover I just do something, I don't know what, just fidgeting around like crazy. So this time is the most stressful for me, like one of the most stressful stuff. And after that, the second stressful occasion for me is when my surrounding, my close friends, parents, or relatives, um, or I don't know, yeah, friends, mostly colleagues, with whom I keep in touch, closely keep in touch. When I did something or I said something, and they felt this offense, they are offended, and I want to iron down the problem, I want to solve the problem, but I understand that I can't do that because the person feels offended because of me, the person feels disappointed, bad mood, and I understand that I can't somehow maintain the friendly dialogue, the friendly conversation, and all the time I'm in touch with this person who is offended, and I just can't. The situation is so stressful for me, the atmosphere is really heated, and it's very complicated, I want to solve it, but I can't solve it. The stuff that can solve the problem is only the time. So these two occasions are the most stressful for me. What about you? What can you say about stressful situation that make you feel stressed? Okay, good. What about now? Are you stressed about anything now? I understand that it's summer holidays. Maybe you are not stressed about anything, but maybe you have some kind of deals, your own business that you feel stressed a little bit about. So what's that? What does you feel? Why does it make you feel stressed when it's the end of the test and I understand that I didn't write all and okay, Katya. Yeah, sometimes it can be, but it's not the case to feel stressed. You have done everything. You can't change, so don't be stressed. Yeah, that's don't feel stressed out. Okay, fine. So speaking about stress itself, stress can be defined as any type of change that causes physical, emotional, or psychological strain, tension. Stress is your body's response to anything that requires attention or action. Everyone experiences stress to some degree. The way you respond to stress, however, makes a big difference to your overall well-being. So the stress is the response of your body to some change. If something changes around you, it means that your body needs to adapt to this change and needs to respond that maybe I should do some change in order to adapt to the shift around you. That's why it's only the response of your body to some change around you. The type of stress depends on your reaction or on your response to the stress. That's why it's very important to react in a healthy way, and to react in a reasonable and smart way towards the stress. Sometimes the best way to manage your stress involves changing your situation. At other times, the best strategy involves changing the way you respond to the situation. Yeah, so as I told you before, changing the way you respond is the key to manage your stress. Developing a clear understanding of how stress impacts your physical and mental health is important. It's also important to recognize how your mental and physical health affects your stress level. What are the signs? What are the signs of stress? Can you type in the chat box what are the major signs of stress in your life? What appears? I feel stressed about hot. Okay, yeah, everybody feels stressed, Katya, about hot weather. That's just the usual situation. Yeah. So, what are the main signs of stress for you? Stress can be so. Speaking about the signs, stress can be divided into two kinds of them. The first one is short term. The second one is long term. And both of them can lead to a variety of symptoms, but chronic stress can take a serious toll on your body over time and have long-lasting health effects. So some common signs of stress include change of mood, being moody, clammy or sweaty palms, clammy or sweaty palms, decreased hormonal functions, diarrhea, difficulty sleeping, digestive problems, dizziness, feeling anxious, frequent sickness, grinding teeth all the time, grinding teeth, headaches, splitting headaches, low energy levels, muscle tension, especially in the neck and shoulders. When you feel stressed, you want to make your body relax, to have the position a relaxed position. So you do like that and you do like that. That's why you have tension in your shoulders, in your neck. So be careful with this. Also, you have physical aches and pains, racing heartbeat, so decrease, up and down, high blood pressure, and trembling also can be the sign of stress. So if you have these physical signs of stress, so it's an insignia of stress, a very severe stress. So how can we identify stress? Can you please type in the chat box how you can identify stress? Of course, when speaking about this issue, stress is not easily recognized, and it's not always easy to see. But there are some ways to identify some signs that you might be experiencing too much pressure. Sometimes stress can come from an obvious source, but like obvious source, some problem appeared and you feel stressed. But sometimes even small daily stresses from work, family, school, and friends can take a toll on your mind and body. Sometimes just minor minutia of life, like simple problems, can pile up, and after that they can explode in one big in one big problem, in one big chronic stress. So this is the case. This is the case that you experience stress. sometimes obvious, yeah, but sometimes there are lots of them and you can't identify which is which, or what caused your stress. If you think that stress might be affecting you, there are a few things you can watch for and you can be on the lookout. The first one is psychological signs or psychological insignias. For example, difficulty of concentration, worrying, anxiety, trouble remembering, bad memory. So those are the psychological signs, behavioral patterns that can that can hint you that this is the stressful situation. Emotional signs. Emotional signs can be like being angry, being irritated, being frustrated, and being moody. So having a change of in mood. So these are the emotional signs. The next signs and the next patterns will be physical. Physical one, to my mind, are the severest one, because when you experience physical signs or physical signs of stress, it means that uh, you have experienced stress on your mental levels, and after that your body says to you that enough, I want change, I want something to I want something. I want to have a breather, and let me have a break. So these can be high blood pressure, changes in weight, gaining or losing weight, frequent colds and infections. So the weak immune system, changes in some hormonal stuff, like women usually have some change in their periods, men have some decrease in their libido system. These are the physical signs. And also you can have some behavioral signs and behavioral patterns that can hint you that you have stress, that you experience stress. For example, a poor self-care, hygiene, having no time for your favorite activities and hobbies that you enjoy, relying on drugs, alcohol, smoking. So getting hooked on some bad habits. These are the behavioral patterns that usually are observed in people who experience severe stress. Now, let's have a look at the causes and the and um, results or effects, respectively. So, can you please type in the chat box? Oh, sorry, my chat box. I need to reload it. Okay, good. I didn't see your comment. Sorry, something technical issues. Good. I feel stressed when it's end of the test. Okay. Let's check. Not easily when I have tests. So I feel stressed when. I feel stressed about hot weather. Fine. I just like this one. Good. Good. Okay. Good. Thanks a lot. So can you type in the chat box what are the causes, what the causes of stress you can name? Probably there are different things in life that can cause stress. Some of the main sources of stress include work, finances, relationships, parenting, and day-to-day trivial problems, trivial minutiae of life. So they pile up, and stress appear. Yeah, big one. Speaking about stress, there was the research conducted by Walter Cannon, and stress can trigger the body's response to a perceived threat or danger. So when you experience stress, you feel danger or threat. It's natural. We are humans, and Walter Cannon Walter Cannon described this process, and it's called when you when you feel stressed out, your body thinks that it's a threat or danger, and that's why we have the fight or flight response. During this reaction, certain hormones like adrenaline and cortisol are released. They are mixed and they are released. This speeds the heart rate, slows digestion, shuts blood flow to major muscle groups, pushes the blood flow into special muscle groups, changes various other autonomic nervous functions, giving the body a burst of energy and strength. So when it feels that it's a threat or danger, it gives you this major push for strength that you can fight, or strength that you can run away if you understand that you can't fight this opponent. So these are the most no, it's not the most, but it's the first response of our body to a major stress. Originally named for its ability to enable us to physically fight or run away when faced with danger, the fight or flight response is now activated in situations where neither response is appropriate, like in traffic jams, during a stressful day at work. So now it's no longer needed, but the instinct of appearing this fight or flight response remained. And that's why now in the situations where it's not needed, this fight or flight response appears. So when the perceived threat is gone, when we had this amount of cortisol and adrenaline released, systems are designed to return to normal function via the relaxation response. But in cases of chronic stress, the relaxation response doesn't occur often enough. And being in a the relaxation doesn't occur often enough. And being in a near constant state of fight or flight response, it can cause damage to our body. I will explain why it will cause the adrenaline and cortisol. It's usually mixed together, and they are major chemicals in our body. When we have this, when we are put in jeopardy, when our life is put in jeopardy, the body understands it, and it generates a lot of cortisol, which is really chemical, and in big amounts, it's very harmful to our bodily functions. That's why when you don't have proper relaxation mode, relaxation mode, you will be faced with constant producing of these chemicals. I told you before that this blend of chemicals, it triggers the blood flow, shunting to your muscle groups and circulating around the body, which causes intoxication of our body. That's why intoxication of the body makes us intoxicated. When you don't have the relaxation period, you get intoxicated with your own hormones, with your own chemicals. That's not good. That's why appears different kinds of signs of the body responses. So stress can also lead to some unhealthy habits that have a negative impact on our health. For example, many people cope with stress by eating too much, or by smoking, by drinking alcohol or drug abuse. These unhealthy habits damage the body and create bigger problems in the long term. So while you have your own stress and your own problems, you after that you damage your body, and after that it creates more stress. So health, stress, and more stress and more health problems. This is the type. So speaking about the types of stress, we have one researcher, Hans Selye. He divided stress into different types. Let's have a look together at them. The first one is acute stress. Acute stress is a very short stress. Okay, is a short-term stress that can either be positive or more destructive. It's very short term, as I said. This is the type of stress we most often encounter in our daily routine. Acute stress, yeah, it's very short. For example, acute stress can be a natural disaster. It's very short. Some accident, car accident, it's short, but it's acute and it has distressing long-term effects. We can also have chronic stress. Chronic stress is stress that seems never ending and inescapable, like the stress of a bad marriage, very taxing job, bad job, unsatisfying job. Chronic stress can also stem from traumatic experiences in childhood because of the childhood trauma. So you had some trauma and you live every day with this trauma. That's why counseling sessions help a lot. Also, we can have episodic acute stress. Episodic acute stress is acute stress that seems to run rampant and be a way of life, creating a life of ongoing distress. For example, when you have a fear of heights or a fear of light, and when you are exposed in your daily life with height of light, you will get this acute episodic stress. So it's somehow intermittent stress. And it's also very short. And also we can have a good stress, which stems from euphoria. And it's called eustress. Eustress is fun and exciting. It's known as a positive type of stress that can keep you energized. It's associated with surges of adrenaline, such as when you are skiing or racing to meet a deadline. So you experience this stress while doing your favorite, this adrenaline, you have this adrenaline intake and you experience this stress with a pleasure. You want this stress more and more. Okay. So when we talk about the result of stress or the impact of stress, can you type in the chat box what are the impacts of stress that you can call or that you can name? The connection between your mind and body is apparent when you examine the impact of stress that has on your life. Feeling stressed out over a relationship, money, or your living situation can create physical health issues. The inverse is also true. Health problems, whether you are dealing with high blood pressure or you have diabetes, will also affect your stress level and your mental health. When your brain experiences high degrees of stress, your body reacts accordingly. Serious acute stress, like being involved in a natural disaster or getting into a verbal or altercation, can trigger heart strokes, can trigger heart attacks and others, and even sudden death. but this happens mostly in individuals who already suffer from heart diseases. Stress also takes an emotional toll. While some stress may produce feelings of mild anxiety or frustration, prolonged stress can also lead to burnout, anxiety disorders, and depression. Chronic stress can have a serious impact on your health as well. If you experience chronic stress, your autonomic nervous system will be overactive, which is likely to damage your body. So this Goldstone axiom, yeah. These stress influence conditions are the following: diabetes, hair loss, heart disease, or hyperthyroidism, yeah, thyroid system, obesity, sexual dysfunction, or tooth and gum problems, oculars. Yeah, so all of them cause. After that, when you experience chronic stress, you have all your defenses maximized, and after that, if you go in the exhaustion mode, when all your resources and reserves were used, depleted, you get into the exhaustion mode, which leads to death. That's why in Japan, they are working a lot and overworking. That's why, because of overworking, they always are living in the exhaustion mode, in the mode of survival. That's why they die. Yeah? Karoshi is it's the death because of work. Karoshi. You can check it out on the internet, by the way. So what I wanted to focus on now is about our lifestyle, because the thing that that stems and the stress that is attributed that is attributed to is of course our lifestyle. A lifestyle, what's that really, a lifestyle? It typically reflects the individual, our attitudes, values, worldview, mindset. And in the 21st century, the definition of lifestyle has drastically changed. What the lifestyle was about 20 years ago has changed a lot when comparing to the 21st century lifestyle. It's a way that a group lives. Yeah, it includes social patterns, consumption, entertainment, dress, and other stuff. In the modern case scenario, we can basically classify the lifestyles of people around us. This may not be a strict and well-defined categories, but there can be some overlap between them. But still, we can distantly put our understand where we belong to this group or to this group. Sometimes there are some subclasses, subcultures in different lifestyles. But one thing which is integral for all of the lifestyles is stress and consequently burnout. Can you please write and type in the chat box, do you thrive, do you succeed or flourish under pressure? So when talking to some people, I have learned that some people say that they really thrive under pressure. Speaking about me, I don't really thrive under pressure sometimes, but I get tired very quickly. That's why it's very difficult for me to really thrive under pressure. However, over time, chronic stress with no downtime can overwhelm us all, leading to a decreased zest for life and eventually burnout. Certain lifestyle features can lead to an especially high risk for burnout. Classic high-risk stresses I will include in a minute. In a second, just let me check your comments. Okay, nothing. So what are the major stresses in our lifestyle, in our modern lifestyle? The first one is too much work with little balance. So it seems to me that everybody has heard about like work-life balance. So today I'm going to talk about it. A life of consistent 80-hour work weeks with no downtime is a classic high-risk scenario for burnout. And schedules approaching that level of fullness can also be very draining. Although we all tend to have especially busy weeks, those who devote all their time to work and work-related activities and put other areas of their lives like relationships, hobbies, and exercises on hold, put themselves at higher risk for burnout. It's not just the fact that work can be draining and stressful, but that the lifestyle is out of balance. Activities that relieve stress and sustain us emotionally and spiritually are reduced or eliminated in favor of more stress inducing work. Such a schedule is also a burnout risk because, as a person living such a busy lifestyle approaches a state of burnout, they're not able to easily get themselves back in balance with these stress relieving activities. So, we live a very busy life, and we always have to remember about work-life balance. When somebody asks me to do some work, to do some stuff out of my working time, of course, I'm available 24 hours a day. But when somebody asks me to do out of my time at the weekends, I don't reply usually because it really damages and ruins my work-life balance. I chill. Usually I get really irritated when somebody calls me or writes me when I'm sleeping. I just it gets my goat really. I hate it. Okay, another point, another stressor is no help or supportive resources. Taking on huge amounts of responsibilities that can't be delegated can also put you on a higher risk, on a higher level of stress, increasing the burnout possibility. Having this feeling that if I take a day off, things will fall apart, causes a generally elevated sense of stress. We all need support. We all need a backup. And we need others so we can offload some responsibilities too if it's needed. So the second thing, if you have a day off, nothing will fall apart. Please, that's a very common way when I leave my job, everything will fall apart. No, that's not true. Everything will be fine. Just have some person to delegate something to rely on, the person who can you rely on, and who could do the job properly. Okay, another one. No social support or very little social support. In addition to needing people who can help you with your responsibilities, we need people to help us shoulder the emotional burdens in our lives. Having someone to talk to about what stresses us, someone to play with when we have spare time, someone to understand us when times are rough and tough, and someone to supply you ideas when you got stumped are all important and necessary aspects of social support. You need to have an emotional harbor Who can you rely on? Who can you confide in some of your problems, in some of your issues? You can share thoughts and you can have some emotional support whenever it's possible. Feeling isolated with our stress creates even more stress and elevates our risk of burnout, whereas adequate social support can be a buffer against it. Buffer against it, mediator. Okay, another point, no time for hobbies, no time for the things you enjoy doing and for your pastimes. Those who work hard often tend to play hard. It seems to me everybody have heard this quote. Yeah, it helps. Playing hard helps to sustain us mentally. Having an outlet for enjoying life outside work can help you feel alive and supply you with a mental and emotional break from what's stressing you. However, if your whole life consists of responsibility and work and you don't have a creative outlet or a regular outlet for good old fun, it's harder to sustain yourself through the stressful times in life. So it's always good to have some time for your favorite activities, to have this favorite activity. Yeah, don't think that I'm too old. I'm outgrew this period to do this stuff. No, that's fine. If you want, if your soul wants to do that, do that. It will decrease your stress and it will relieve you mentally. Really, it can relieve you mentally and emotionally. What can else lead to the chronic stress is too little sleep. People don't always realize the importance of this point in their life. But if you don't get adequate sleep, you are less able to handle stress and you are also less productive and suffer other health consequences. When you get inadequate sleep on a regular basis, you put yourself into a state of chronic sleep deprivation and chronic stress, after all. You put yourself in a higher risk of burnout. That's why if you have insomnia or if you have sleeplessness, please deal with it, because not having enough sleep will lead you only to the worst consequences ever. Another point is too little time off. Part of living a balanced lifestyle is having regular times off. Taking a vacation at least once a year can help you to get into a different situation and remind yourself why you are here, why you are living on this planet, outside of your responsibilities, to be outside of them. Vacations help you to get back in touch with yourself and discover new parts of yourself, as well as just sit, switch off your mind from work, take your mind off some problems, to change the scenery, to think of nothing and just chill out. While this can also be accomplished with meditation and other activities, nothing does it so quite easily and enjoyable as a vacation. When you return, you are usually at least somewhat happy, or you want to get back to your old life, to your work. And such times off can be good burnout prevention. So if you haven't taken time off in quite a while, you're putting yourself in a high risk for burnout. So please have some time off, have some change of scenery, which will help you. And some interesting quotes for you, to prevent some stress escalation. Take rest. A field that has rested gives a bountiful crop. Yeah, a bountiful crop. Give your stress wings and let it fly away. Stress is the trash of modern life. We all generate it, but if you don't dispose of it properly, it will pile up and overtake your life. Stress is the trash of modern life. We all generate it, but if you dispose of it properly, it will pile up and overtake you. So always bear in mind these quotes to cope with the stress. And speaking about my way of dealing with stress, let's have a look. I will reveal my secret of stress prevention. Usually speaking about the modern scenario, it's considered to be a relevant phenomenon when your echo says you there are not enough hours in a day to manage all the stuff that I have to do. And I noticed that I face with this reality quite often nowadays. We live in a draining and stressful, fast-paced lifestyles, and it's always very difficult to maintain this balance, to find this balance, to follow a healthy and harmonious lifestyle. So it's an unrealistic goal to have the balance, to have harmony, and to follow a healthy lifestyle. For me, it's unrealistic goal. But something I have found, but I have found some kind of thing that helps me to keep in touch with myself and to keep in touch with the world that's around me. But before going to that, what do you think? What's harmony? What is harmony for you? Can you type in the chat box? What is harmony for you? Harmony, when I have searched on the internet, I have found that it's not a synonym to balance. Don't mix them together. Harmony means a decent way of coexisting of everything in collaboration with your spirit. If a person does more than he wants, but less than he doesn't want, it will definitely lead to harmony. To achieve this harmony, a person should identify what his life looks like. That's for me, it's an unrealistic goal. How can I identify how my life will look like or looks like? But it can be achieved with a very simple practice, which is called mindfulness. It's not a meditation practice, but it's a very similar one, but it's simply different and much easier because you understand why you do it, what's the purpose of what you are doing, and it's very simple in the reality of our modern life. So what's mindfulness? Mindfulness is a non-judgmental and peaceful state of mind when a person is not bothered by issues from past and future. It's living the moment now, seeing a whole landscape around you, not fixating and thinking too much about the problem, about trivial problems and about problems that were in the past or can be in the future, somewhere in the future. It's just distracting your mind from everything and living a moment. So this is mindfulness. It's generally acknowledged that mindfulness positively influences the mental faculty, of our brain. It's able to change the mind patterns. We modern people have a tunnel vision, so we tend to look only from one perspective. We don't see these things that are around. Mindfulness helps to see to look from different perspectives. From different perspectives, we we tend to fixate on the problems that we can have in the future, possibly problems that we had in the past, and it decreases our efficiency and productivity. It consequently, we end up failing. We when, for example, you are toying with the idea of doing something or not, you start ruminating about possible mistakes, expecting some results in the future, which makes you puzzled. You are not productive now, and surely you probably fail some of the plans, fail some of the deadline, miss some of the deadlines, so you make your stress escalate more. That's the problem of a modern person. Another issue that should be taken into consideration about stress is stress reduction. It's scientifically proved that mindfulness practices are able to reduce everyday stress. Moreover, pace of life creates a regular stress, and it's always chronic. A crucial factor is people's succumbing to the pressure. It's scientifically agreed that a crucial factor to avoid chronic stress is through emotional and spiritual sustaining of our body. So 40-minute alone mindfulness meditating practices can help you to enhance the quality of your mental processes. While sitting, you get distracted from intrusive and botherings, intrusive thoughts, and some broodings about different stuff. Step by step, you will learn how to tame your internal chaos and put all this stuff on shelves. You can do it not just by sitting and meditating. You can, for example, practice it while making tea. When you pour water in the glass, think about the water. Think about the texture. Think about the color of the glass. After that, you have to drink it. But first of all, don't swallow. Hold the tea inside your mouth. Think about the texture, temperature, flavor, taste, smell of the tea. After that, when you swallow it, think about how you feel after swallowing. What's this flavor after you swallowed it? How do you feel? So when you eat the candy, think about the texture, smell of the candy. Unwrap it. Listen to the sound of unwrapping. So fixate on the things that are now. Yeah, that you can distantly hear, but you didn't notice them before. Notice them now, and you will live the present moment. The mindfulness practice came from Buddhist monks who thought that we are having a monkey mind when we jump from one tree to another tree to another tree, and to this one, to past, to future, to present, and we just can't focus on the present moment, living the life to the full now, but not somewhere. So it will help you also not to concentrate on some pain. When you have some pain in your limb, leg or arm, or in some other body organ, mindfulness can help you not to fixate on this pain and to live a present moment to the full, to enjoy life to the full. So mindfulness is not like meditating and sitting for 5 and 10 minutes. It's just living the present moment and noticing the present stuff. Just stop for a little bit and think about what you can see around you, what you can hear around you, smell, taste, and after all. So in conclusion, it was my secret for you to how to manage stress a little bit. Um, it seems to me that enjoying the life and living your life to the full extent is the major goal of every person. Um, and to fulfill this goal, it will help you, this trick of mindfulness will help you to fulfill a little bit this goal. Through regular trainings of mindfulness, you will be able to control your way of thinking, you will be able to enhance your problem solving abilities, increase your brain efficiency, and finally you will get your desirable harmony of life. So for me, it's like um, very interesting to see how people understand mindfulness. It can be anything. If you feel good and if you notice the things around you, that's mindfulness. It doesn't matter how you do it. It matters what you feel. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking about good stress. So good stress can provide you with it's a vital part. Just learn how to live with the stress. Just by good stress, for example, boosts your immune system, increases your metabolism, makes you stronger. So just learn how to live with the stress, and it will be your friend. Make your stress friend. Yeah. So at home, I have one interesting task for you. I will now send you the link to the Google Disk folder where you are going to make your own guide for stress management. Here, your own guide for stress management. So you go to this folder and download, just a sec, and download, where is it? And download your guide how to manage your stress. It can be anything. It can be a video, a funny video. It can be a social media post, a social media story like Instagram story. It can be presentation, a mixture of photos, a mixture of probably everything. Just your thoughts or your secret to stress-free life, daily life, that can help every person to live a stress-free life. So the deadline is the next week. Please download your presentations or photos or anything, or videos. Be creative, and I'm waiting for your creative guides. Okay. Thank you. It was a pleasure to work with you. See you next week. Have a nice weekend.